What if the most infamous exploding head in cinema history wasn't the first? What if a movie 1 year prior did something so graphic, so explosive that it literally set the template for one of horror's most iconic moments? You're probably thinking of Scanners, but today we're talking about Brian De Palma's 1978 psychic epic, The Fury. This is the story that took the ideas from Carrie and injected them with a blockbuster budget, a conspiracy thriller plot, and an ending that has to be seen to believed. In this video, we are counting down the 10 hidden secrets of The Fury, culminating in a golden flicker moment that will change how you see special effects history. Released in 1978, The Fury is a notable supernatural thriller directed by Brian De Palma. It stars the legendary Kirk Douglas as Peter Sansa, a government agent whose son, Robin, possesses powerful psychic abilities. When Robin is kidnapped by a ruthless, shadowy agency known as PSI, led by the chilling John Cassavetes as Ben Childress, Peter launches a desperate, globe-trotting mission to get him back. At the same time, we meet Jillian Belliver, played by Amy Irving, a high school student just discovering her own powerful and terrifying telekinetic and psychic abilities. Their paths are set on a collision course. The film is a paranoid, high-octane chase, blending the espionage thrillers of the 1970s with explosive, visceral, supernatural horror. Do you remember the first time you saw that ending? Or the feeling of dread every time someone's nose started to bleed and those veins started to pop? It was a unique blend of blockbuster action and genuine horror. Today, we're digging deep into the production, the casting, and the shocking legacy of this cult classic. Let's start the countdown.
What is it they want you for?
A high-level security risk.
Number 10. The alternate ending that almost changed everything. We begin our countdown with a what-if that would have completely changed the film's dark legacy. The explosive, shocking, and operatic ending of The Fury is what cements it in cinema history. But it was not the only option. According to production reports, there were alternate endings considered during the script stage. The most significant variation? An ending where the protagonist survives. It's unclear which protagonist this refers to, Kirk Douglas's Peter Sansa, or perhaps even Amy Irving's Jillian. But imagine a version of The Fury that doesn't end in that spectacular, bloody explosion of telekinetic vengeance. The filmmakers ultimately, and wisely, decided that the dark, explosive finale was the only way to go, believing it was essential to keep the film's intense and visceral tone. It was a brave choice, and it's the very reason that final scene is still so famous today. Number 9. The Blues Brothers crossover you never knew existed. Our next fact connects The Fury to one of the most beloved comedies of all time, and it all comes down to one specific location. Think of the intense scene where agents are chasing Kirk Douglas, culminating in a confrontation in his hotel room. It's a classic De Palma sequence, full of tension and dynamic camera work. Now, picture a very different film, The Blues Brothers, released in 1980. Remember the chaotic, messy, and hilarious hotel room scenes with Jake and Elwood? Well, believe it or not, the scene where the agents chase Kirk Douglas from his hotel room was filmed in the exact same hotel room that would later be used in The Blues Brothers. This is a fantastic piece of Chicago filmmaking lore. Both films used the city of Chicago as a major character, but to wildly different effects. In The Fury, the city is a cold, paranoid labyrinth. In The Blues Brothers, it's a vibrant, chaotic playground. The fact that these two completely different cinematic universes share the very same physical space is a wonderful accident of production history. It's a testament to how location scouting can find a space that works for multiple disparate visions. One can only imagine the set dressers for The Blues Brothers having to clean up after the intensity of De Palma's thriller, or perhaps the other way around. It creates an invisible, unlikely thread between two films that could not be more different. Number 8. Filming in the Ghost of Old Chicago. One of the most memorable and bizarre sequences in The Fury involves a psychic confrontation at an amusement park. The flashing lights, the spinning rides, and the sense of childlike fun curdling into horror is deeply effective. But the location itself is perhaps even more interesting than the scene. Those scenes were not shot in a typical outdoor Six Flags. They were filmed inside Old Chicago, which holds the unique title of being the world's first indoor theme park and shopping mall. This location is the definition of a time capsule. Built in 1975 in Bolingbrook, Illinois, Old Chicago was a massive, ambitious project, a 1920s-themed enclosed city of entertainment. It was a marvel of its time, but its life was incredibly short. It closed its doors permanently in 1980, just a few years after it opened, and only 2 years after The Fury was released. This means that De Palma's film contains some of the best-preserved moving picture evidence of this lost landmark. The scenes shot there aren't just a backdrop. They are an accidental documentary of a forgotten piece of Americana. There's an extra layer of melancholy to those scenes now, knowing that the entire park, with all its lights and sounds, would soon fall silent forever. It was an iconic setting that provided a surreal, contained atmosphere for the film's supernatural events, and it captured a fleeting moment in entertainment history just before it vanished. Number 7. The Unexpected Composer. When you think of the composer John Williams, what comes to mind? Is it the soaring, heroic fanfare of Star Wars? The thunderous adventure of Indiana Jones? The childlike wonder of E.T.? Williams is, without question, the master of the blockbuster theme, which makes his score for The Fury so fascinating. Yes, the soundtrack for this dark, violent, and paranoid thriller was composed by the very same John Williams. Coming right off his Academy Award-winning work for Star Wars in 1977, Williams re-teamed with De Palma, after their collaboration on Obsession, to create something completely different. The score for The Fury is not a bombastic adventure theme. It was highly praised by critics for being a delicately varied, haunting, and deeply suspenseful piece of music. It's atmospheric and eerie, blending orchestral suspense with hauntingly beautiful melodic lines that perfectly amplify the film's psychic horror and emotional depth. Williams' music expertly shifts from subtle psychological unease to supporting the explosive psychic confrontations. It's a testament to Williams' incredible versatility. While it's often overlooked in his vast catalog of iconic hits, his score for The Fury is a masterclass in building tension and is a crucial ingredient in what makes the film's tone so effective. It's John Williams in pure horror mode, and it is chilling. Number 6. The future stars hiding in plain sight. Brian De Palma has always had a fantastic eye for new talent. His 1976 film Carrie was a launchpad for actors like Sissy Spacek, John Travolta, and Amy Irving. 2 years later, The Fury continued this trend, serving as the very first stepping stone for several actors who would go on to become household names. The most famous, and perhaps hardest to spot, is Jim Belushi. In his very first uncredited film appearance, Belushi plays a beach bum. It's a tiny role, just a face in the scenery, but it's him, years before Saturday Night Live or his own leading man career. But he's not alone. The movie was also the very first silver screen appearance for a very young Daryl Hannah. Before she was a replicant in Blade Runner or a mermaid in Splash, she was here, a student at the Psychic Institute. And if you look closely, you'll also spot Laura Innes, who would later become famous as the tough-as-nails Dr. Carrie Weaver on the massive hit TV show ER. Watching The Fury today is like playing a game of Spot the Future Star. It's a clear sign that De Palma's casting office was one of the best in the business, finding actors who had a unique spark long before the rest of the world caught on. Number 5. The casting what-if scenario that would have changed everything. Casting what-if scenarios are one of the great pastimes for film lovers. What if Tom Selleck had played Indiana Jones? What if Will Smith hadn't turned down The Matrix? Well, The Fury has one of its own, and it would have completely altered the film's entire dynamic. The role of Robin Sansa, Peter's powerful and tormented son, was played by Andrew Stevens. But he wasn't the only actor in the running. Brian De Palma was reportedly considering another young actor for the part, John Travolta. Now let's put this in perspective. This was 1977, during filming. Saturday Night Fever was about to be released and would make Travolta the single biggest star on the planet. He had also just worked with De Palma on Carrie. Imagine The Fury with John Travolta as the psychic son. The entire film would have been different. The marketing, the audience's focus, the dynamic between son and father, it would have all shifted. Would Travolta's meteoric stardom have overshadowed the film or even Kirk Douglas himself? We'll never know. Andrew Stevens was cast, and he brought a specific, unsettling, and aristocratic coldness to the role that works perfectly. But the mind reels at the alternate universe version of The Fury, starring the King of Disco. It's one of cinema's most intriguing sliding doors moments. Number 4. The real-world psychic arms race. The plot of The Fury, a secret government agency kidnapping and weaponizing psychic teenagers, might seem like pure science fiction fantasy. But the truth is, the film was tapping into a very real and very paranoid anxiety of its time. The film was made at the height of the Cold War, a period rife with widespread urban legends and, as it turns out, real government programs involving psychic phenomena. Both the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a psychic arms race. The Soviet Union in particular had extensive, government-funded parapsychological programs. They were actively researching telepathy, psychokinesis, and remote viewing, all in an effort to gain a military and intelligence advantage. This led to rumors and legends about psychotronic weapons and powerful psychic spies who could kill a man with their mind or spy on secret bases from a continent away. The CIA and other U.S. intelligence agencies took these threats seriously enough to start their own programs, like the Stargate Project, to investigate and potentially counteract a psychic gap. The Fury was not created in a vacuum. It was a direct fictionalization of this real-world paranoia. The film's entire premise mirrors the fears of psychic espionage and shadow government control that were prevalent in the 1970s. The film embeds these contemporary fears of unseen psychic warfare directly into its narrative, giving the supernatural horror a terrifyingly plausible, conspiratorial edge. And now, the golden flicker moment. Number 3. The explosion that started a war. Ask any horror fan to name the most iconic head explosion scene, and 99 out of 100 will say David Cronenberg's 1981 masterpiece, Scanners. That single, visceral, practical effect became the stuff of legend. It's one of the great "oh my God" moments in genre history. But The Fury did it first, and arguably, it did it bigger. The climax of The Fury is a show-stopping, operatic finale of telekinetic rage. Gillian, having absorbed all of Robin's power and trauma, confronts the villain, Childress, and then she blows him up. But it's not a single quick pop like in Scanners. De Palma, using complex practical effects, miniatures, and multiple camera angles, shows John Cassavetes' character exploding multiple times in glorious, graphic slow motion. His body is literally torn apart, piece by piece, in a symphony of destruction that was utterly shocking to 1978 audiences. This scene is the direct inspiration for the psychic battles that would follow. The infamous head explosion in Scanners was a direct response to and an attempt to one-up what De Palma had achieved here. The Fury's climax didn't just end the movie, it threw down a gauntlet. It set a new standard for a psychic showdown and proved that telekinesis could be as visceral and as cinematic as any car chase or gunfight. It was the bloody, telekinetic shot heard round the world, directly influencing the wave of body horror and special effects-driven films of the 1980s. Scanners may have perfected the single moment, but The Fury wrote the playbook. Do you agree that this is the golden flicker moment? Number 2. The Carrie Connection you never noticed. The connections between The Fury and De Palma's 1976 classic, Carrie, are obvious. Both are about tormented teens with telekinetic powers. Both feature Amy Irving. But there is one specific, technical connection that is truly fascinating. A ghost from Carrie's production that found its redemption in The Fury. One of the most striking visual effects in The Fury is the physical manifestation of psychic power. When characters like Gillian or Robin use their abilities, you see the prominent veins in their foreheads throb and bulge. It's a brilliant, simple, and effective visual shorthand for immense strain. Here's the secret. That effect was originally intended for Carrie. In the original script for Carrie, De Palma had planned for that exact throbbing vein effect to appear on Sissy Spacek's forehead during the prom scene. However, Carrie was a low-budget film, and the effect was deemed too complex or too expensive. It was cut due to budget constraints. Fast forward 2 years, De Palma now has a much larger mainstream budget for The Fury. Finally, he had the time and the money to achieve the visual he had wanted all along. The throbbing vein, cut from Carrie, was resurrected and became one of the most memorable visual cues in The Fury. To make the connection even more explicit, De Palma cast Amy Irving, who played the good girl Sue Snell in Carrie, as his new psychic protagonist. The Fury isn't just a thematic cousin to Carrie. It's the film where De Palma finally got to use all the ideas and effects his original budget wouldn't allow. Number 1. The Star Who Chased a Ghost. And now our number 1 fact. It's a story about a Hollywood legend, a then recent classic, and a deep misunderstanding of why a film succeeds. The star of The Fury is Kirk Douglas. We're talking Spartacus, Paths of Glory.
I apologize, sir, for not telling you sooner that you're a degenerate, sadistic old man. And you can go to hell before I apologize to you now or ever again.
Lust for Life, a true icon of cinema's golden age. By 1978, he was a living legend. So why did he sign on for a bloody, psychic horror film from a young, new Hollywood director? The answer, incredibly, lies with Carrie. According to production stories, Kirk Douglas was motivated to star in the film because he held a specific belief about De Palma's previous hit. He believed that Carrie, while successful, had lacked major star power, and that this had limited its box office success. Think about that. He looked at Carrie, a film whose success was built on its cast of brilliant unknowns, and thought what that movie needed was a star, like me. So he signed on to The Fury to provide the exact star power he felt Carrie was missing. He wanted to be the element that elevated De Palma's next supernatural thriller from a mere genre hit into a massive global blockbuster. The irony, of course, is that Carrie is now universally regarded as an all-time masterpiece, a cultural touchstone whose legacy has far eclipsed that of The Fury. The Fury was a commercial success and has become a beloved cult classic, but it never achieved the iconic status of its predecessor. Kirk Douglas's logic was, in hindsight, completely flawed. But we have that flawed logic to thank for his incredible, intense, and physically committed performance. He wasn't just acting, he was on a mission to prove a point, chasing the ghost of a success he fundamentally misunderstood. From phantom theme parks to real-world psychic spies and an explosion that echoed into the next decade, The Fury is so much more than just a sequel in spirit to Carrie. It's a paranoid, explosive, and stylish masterpiece of 1970s genre cinema, and a film that truly deserves its cult status. If you discovered something new today, illuminate our day by clicking like and subscribe to Golden Flicker so you never miss a story from the annals of cinema history. Which film should we explore next? Let us know in the comments.